Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Anna Rose. Today we are going to learn how to style Deanna Troi's season 7 iconic look plus bangs. Let's get to it. All right, so unfortunately I lost the roller set. So you're going to take 1.5 inch rollers and go down the back of the head. So everything behind the lace is considered the back of the head. And then for that hump section, you're going to go up almost kind of in a diagonal, and then as you get towards the middle, have everything in a horizontal. And basically duplicate that for the other side. Up, up, up the head and back. And then you also want to have a section already left out for the back. Now we're gonna tease the back up. I have the front section sectioned out. This is like that little hump Gibson girl, kind of like the front of a Gibson girl. And because this wig is a hard front, we are going to fudge the design a little bit and add bangs. So she didn't really have bangs in the 7th season. Ooh. But we're gonna add them just to cheat it a little bit because we want to kind of disguise that hard front. So that's what we're gonna do, and let's get into it. Let's start teasing it up. So now I'm just raking through the curls with a wide tooth comb just to separate everything. And then I'm gonna start with the nape section, taking about 3 rows of wefts, 3 or 4, and I'm just gonna back comb heavily. Oh, lost my comb. But yeah, the aim is just to back comb the crap out of this. You can take your pick comb and you can just go in there and just compact everything in. Of this back section off camera, and then once I'm up here at the top of the crown, we'll come back and I'll show you how to do that, and then we'll move on to the front section and then the bang. And as you can see, I've already started to like smooth this area out. You already see that wave forming in there. You're not gonna see a lot of this back anyway, so you want to have it smooth, but you don't have to like go too ham making it perfect. The messiness of this style works. This is the top section that we have to work with. So we're gonna tease this all the way up. You don't have to worry too much about it being super smooth or super neat, because you have to remember that this Gibson girl front area is gonna kind of hide and conceal everything. You can stack this if you want, especially if you're a drag queen, and make this really, really big if you want to take it there. I'm gonna opt for something a little less stereotypically drag. So I might try this on my head and then kind of tone it down depending. I've made a Deanna wig in the past, and I think the lessons that I learned on that were that I got a little too crazy with making it too big. So I'm gonna try and keep this as contained as the 80s and early 90s will allow. And then we're gonna just keep doing what we did before. So here it looks like I am raking through this. I'm being actually as gentle as possible. It's only because it's sped up that it looks like I'm being really aggressive. So you want to really smooth over that top layer in the back. Again, like I said, this doesn't have to be ultra perfect, ultra pristine. The messiness of this look helps, so it is okay if it's not completely smooth. I'm now using my rake comb just to get everything nice and smooth out. Also, rake combs, 5-prong combs are really good for fluffing up teasing. After you have kind of smoothed things out, you can kind of sometimes inadvertently take the teasing out. So this is a really good tool to help fluff things back up. And here I am taking this last front section for the crown area and just teasing the shit out of it. This is gonna be the last little bit before we move on to the Gibson girl, as I've been calling it. Look, the little bumper in the front. So this is the last little section that you can get some height out of. So just go ahead, smooth her out, make her all fluffy. Use your hands to like push from the bottom up to really insert those waves and curls in there. And just make sure she just looks good. So for this section, I'm basically going to tease from the inside out, like I do with normally just about anything, and fanning it backward. So with this, I'm going to take a couple of sections and I'm going to tease it down almost into a roll. You could use hair filler if you have that instead of doing it this way, using teasing. But this is also a good way to practice your teasing and also learn how you can build shapes with hair. And if you don't have a donut, because you're not going to always have access to a hair donut if you're doing things on set, or if you're in a salon and you don't have the right materials. Sometimes you just need to know how to work with the hair itself. Okay, so this is really straightforward. So right here, I'm smoothing out that section that I've teased the heck out of right now, and I'm taking it by the tail and I'm basically rolling it down into the middle and then sculpting it and spreading it out, almost like in a croissant shape. And basically, I'm gonna take some bobby pins in a second and combine that with the hair that is in the back of the head. So it's all one cohesive unit. And I'm hiding the pins in between the hair. So I'm taking a little bit of hair from the croissant and a little bit of hair from the crown and using the bobby pin basically to like tack them together. And I'm doing that on both sides. I'm also tacking it down where the croissant meets the head on the side. So I'm sliding some bobby pins up there as well. You want this nice and secure. Alright, so now I'm French lacing. Just as I go through each layer, I'm just adding a little bit of tease, not too much, because this is where it starts to get smoother and smoother towards the front section, right? So I'm also using a pearlized pin just to keep my the hair that I've moved back in place, and so it won't get disturbed by me trying to do the sides. So take thin slices and tease gently at the root, and then spread it back and smooth as you go. You can use a little bit of hairspray as well to give you a little bit of texture. But I'm not going too crazy by packing the hair down. I'm just more of like teasing it and French lacing it away from the face and then smoothing that out. Really simple stuff, you guys. Name of the game is just tease, 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 smooth, smooth, smooth. That's pretty much the fundamental things you're gonna do on this style. Tease, tease, tease. And then we're gonna get to a little bit of cutting towards the end. Okay, so I'm using my 5-prong comb to now smooth the bun out. We're smoothing this, making sure that everything is situated towards the back. So for the sides, you're gonna make sure that the outer layer is coming around the sides, but also coming up to meet the middle. The middle just needs to go straight back and lay back, but those sides need to kind of join and swoop up in the back and meet up with the middle. So I'm just making sure now that everything is smooth so that when it comes around that shape, everything can join neatly. You see that? Right, so I'm just clipping it so it stays in place, and I can worry about that later. Right now, I'm gonna keep working on these outer layers, and I'm doing a gentle tease, smoothing it back. Hit it with a little hairspray. And this I am being a lot more meticulous on. You notice that I am really detailing and really trying to get it as smooth as possible. The front of Deanna's hair was rarely messy. Sometimes it was a little more fluffy, but I wouldn't consider it messy. So today I'm going for a more structured look. And when you do these sections, take thin sections. Don't take too much. Don't take too much. Use thin sections and gently tease everything and smooth it out. With these outer sections, the sections that you're gonna see more, you definitely wanna tease less. As you work your way to the front of the hairline, tease less. All right, and so I'm also leaving hair down at the bottom of the hairline, right in front of the ear. This is also to help disguise some of the hard frontness of the wig. I'm also going to French lace or root the edges of the wig, so right in front, so it's not as blunt of a hairline. So there's gonna be a little texture of hair. It's hard to explain it. The best way I can explain it is you're taking a section of hair like you would for any teasing, but instead of teasing the interior of the hair and a teasing back towards the back of the head, you're teasing the front surface of the hair and you're dragging your brush down to the root, to the hairline of the wig, and then pulling away towards you. So that is how I would verbally explain it. I didn't really get a good clip of it. I'm still working on my video filming setup for these tutorials and what's best for what I have right now. Also, I need to definitely get a more rectangle or square table. All right, and now we have finally made it to the front, the bangs. All right, so now we are gonna cut just straight across, pull that section out a little bit. Don't elevate too much and just cut across. All right, so this section is where she really starts to come together. So you're gonna grab a hair tie, preferably a dark one. You don't wanna use a blonde one in dark hair, but go off if you do. All right, so basically we're gonna pull her through once as a ponytail, and then we're gonna pull again. But instead of pulling it all the way through a second time, we're gonna leave it as like this little like nub. And then we're gonna fan the hair over it. But before we do that, and just leave it, we wanna secure everything in place. So I'm gonna go and push bobby pins horizontally around the perimeter of that little knot, that little nub that I made, that ponytail nub. All right, so now I'm just going through with my 5-prong comb, Miss 5-prong again to the rescue, and I'm brushing that hair out for any tangles, any knots or rattiness. I just want it to be nice and smooth. The hair itself can be messy, but I don't want it to look it needs to be brushed. Does that make sense? So brush that out. Add any more bobby pins that you need to add. You might go through as you're brushing and need to secure some more. Just make sure you get a nice little kind of like when you look at it from the front, it's almost like you want these hairs to like gracefully starburst out of the back of her head, but not in I stuck my finger in a electrical socket kind of way, in a nice soft way. You'll see. And then you're gonna wanna basically take all the hair that you have in that little tuft behind the croissant and backcomb that and fill it out, fluff it up. Give it some airiness and some fullness. You don't want it to just be limp, because then it's just gonna, every time you turn your head, it's gonna be whipping and moving and looking crazy. You want it to have some kind of structure while maintaining that messy look. Alright, so now I'm taking my rat tail comb and I'm going to use it to section out the top layer of the bangs. So now that we're at the end, you do not want to make the mistake that I have made before, and I'm sure some of you have made this before when cutting bangs. Do not have the top layer grouped in with everything else. Take the top layer out of the way. It will hide any mistakes that you make because it'll fall over any short or chunky bits that you might create with the thinning shears. If this is something new to you, you might get little choppy bits because you're going too crazy with the thinning shears. So keep that top layer of bang sectioned out of the way so it can be your disguise layer. That's what I like to call it. But basically what you see me here doing, this technique is just weaving the blade of the thinning shears through the hair where I see I want to take out some bits of hair. It's a visual thing, so I can't tell you exactly where to put your thinning shears. You're gonna have to look at your bangs, see where you want some thinness, some airiness, and then you decide where you want to put that. So this is gonna be one of those visual things, but I'm showing you the technique. You can also just go in at the section and just clip and drag, clip and drag. You don't want to go with a lot of pressure. You want to be delicate with it, and you want to, it's almost one full motion. You don't want to the blade and then just stay there. You want to gently drag the hair through. And you see, now that section is properly thinned out the way I like, and I'm just taking my comb and getting the rest of the hair out of the way. This is a method that I wanted to show you guys that you can use on synthetic hair that is heat safe. So make sure your wig is heat safe. Don't have me out here melting your wigs. Make sure your wig is heat safe, okay? You'll know. So you want to definitely just hit that bang with a little bit of heat, like while you're going through it, the curl has come out. So that's what I was doing. I wanted to give it a little more shape. And you can do this in layers so that when you hit it with a little hairspray or a little pump it up, you can kind of tease the bangs up or section them out, make them however you like, messy. You know, in the 90s, they had very like fluffy bangs. So that's totally what we're going for, all right? So I'm just making sure that's nice and smooth, has a nice shape that I like. So here I'm about to slide cut those tendrils that we took out earlier. This is going to help conceal the fact that this is a hard front, or at least I hope it does. And we're going to do that on both sides. So you can figure out where you want these to lay on your face for your Deanna wig. I have them about, I would say, chin length. And you can use that as a good rule of thumb. I think that's a good place. I think that's about where they hit her, like around her jaw or chin, something like that. And here I'm just fluffing up the wig, doing some detail work, finishing touches, just to make sure everything is sitting properly in the way that I want it. So now I'm taking little random pieces and hitting them with hairspray to really define them, and then using my fingers after I've hit the strand with hairspray to just slide it through that curl, and it just defines those curls and makes them a lot more piecey. And that's a hallmark of 80s and 90s styles. You got a lot of pieciness going on, a lot of texture. So this is optional, but not for me. I'm brown, so this scalp is not gonna work. This is a hard front, so it does have a fake scalp, and it is very white. So I'm gonna take a Copic marker, or any alcoholic based marker should be fine, and just coat this as much as I can. It didn't work as deeply as I wanted it to, but it's a whole lot better than what it was before, because I can just see me trying to use this for photos and that white scalp just standing out like a beacon to the sky, and that is not what you want. Unless that matches you, then leave it. Obviously. But yeah, so I went in with Hazelnut E23, I believe is a color code, and just colored it as much as I could. It took it enough where it became less noticeable. This is the final look for Deanna Troi. Now you are ready to be the empathic Beta Z queen. You can utilize the techniques shown in this video for a range of hairstyles, not just Deanna. For instance, if you wanted to create a Hollywood wave, this is a great roller set for that. If you've enjoyed this tutorial, the next one will be one of my faves, Beverly Crusher. In that one, I will teach you not only how to style her hair, but also how to achieve the layering for her season 7 look. I'm really pleased with this one, so subscribe and tell your friends about this channel if they are a big Trekkie, and especially if they cosplay. I want to build this channel but need your help. Subscribe, like, comment, share, all that good stuff. Let me know who you would like to see in a future hair tutorial from the Star Trek universe. If you would like to support the channel and me, you can become a Patreon. After this initial wave of tutorials, I will be releasing tutorials for members a month early on a different tier to be determined. If that is something that interests you and you would like to support me, the link is below. You can also find blooper content and unused or unretouched photos there. You can also let me know what you want the topic of future quizzes to be and submit questions that may show up in a future quiz episode. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to see more tutorials and general Trek nerdiness. I will see you guys soon with Beverly. Live long and prosper, you nerds.